All right, we're recording audio and we're broadcasting. What's up, guys?
Hey, what's going on?
We're live here, episode 8 of the Intro and Extro podcast. We have our friend Kevin Dolan here.
Kevin. Hey, what's up?
What's up, Kevin?
Oh, nothing much. Just came from the world's worst open mic.
Oh, yeah, that was horrendous, man.
Anthony D's. I did not go this week. Was this your first experience?
Yeah, yeah. That was a good time. Everybody was in the corner.
Good time.
Plotting my demise.
Brandon, that's your mic that you host. Do you want to talk about it a little bit?
Yeah, sure. I host an open mic at Anthony D's in Milford every Monday night. We switched it to 7 o'clock sign up and 7:30 showtime because there's Monday Night Football and we didn't want to compete with that.
Uh-huh.
But tonight I get there, it was just Kevin there. And Sean McKay was there, and so we weren't even going to do it. And then Brian Sullivan showed up. We're like, we got a show now.
So there was what, 4 of you there?
Yeah. Wow. 3 of them went up.
He didn't go up.
Oh, you didn't go up.
I opted not.
Oh, you're missing out.
Yeah,
sound on the Anthony D's action.
I think that was good.
It was me doing some stuff, and then Sean, and then it was just Brian Sullivan yelling at the people playing pool. He was just screaming at them. He would scream at them, and then he would do some of his material, and then he would scream more, and then try to do his material to them. It was awesome. I fucking love it.
And he kept saying how he was just a lonely guy, just trying to let strangers love him. He just wanted to have strangers love him.
Yeah, it was good shit.
Oh wow,
he's a funny dude.
It's been a pretty quick mic then.
Yeah, it was pretty quick. At the end, I'm like,
all right,
bye.
Notice, bye. Yeah. I've done rooms like that though. Well, I used to do dinner theater.
Oh, actually, I think you might have mentioned that to me. I want to hear about that because I've never been to dinner theater, but I know it seems to be kind of sort of a punchline in the entertainment industry, I guess. But
well, the way that it works is it's like mascot and dinner theater. That's the kind of
mascot.
Yeah, team mascot, which is also a crap job because I was a bluefish. I was the rich professional for the first year.
Oh wow!
And kids just piss on you and kick you, and they think it's funny. But no, dinner theater is it's nuts because your age range is between 65 and 85 every day.
Oh wow!
So you're trying to do like Edward Albee. You're doing I did Who's Afraid of Virginia Woolf as part of a dinner theater. It's not good.
So you're up there acting while they're eating dinner.
Yep, so and it's usually meatloaf or, it's just not good. And they're always asking you can't hear what you're saying or, I need rolls at table 5. It's just, it's bad.
Do you get heckled though?
No. I did have people that actually must have been there when Albee wrote the show because they were like, well, that's not the way I remember it. And you're, okay, well, then you just lapse into Annie, it's fine. That's fine.
Where did you do dinner theater?
I did it from Virginia all the way up to Maine.
Oh.
The last time that I did it was the Darien Dinner Theater up in Connecticut, which was 14 years ago before it closed.
So did you travel?
Wow,
you traveled. Were you part of a group that traveled, or was it all freelance?
It was freelance. It wasn't a rep company. It was wherever my agent sent me.
Oh, okay. So wow, how long did you do that for?
I did theater like that for about 6 or 7 years.
Wow, and you lived on it? That was your only job?
That was my only job. You couldn't really say you lived on it, but they paid you they kept you in a shitty motel, and they paid you $12 and a Subway gift card. But
that sounds really similar to being a comedian starting.
It is.
Yeah,
it is. You got to be willing to if you like the work.
Yeah.
And also I was, in my 20s, so who cares? You know what I mean? You just got to do what you got to do.
Yeah.
And if you think, it's all material that you find out later on.
Yeah.
Because I never did stand up. I always did heavy duty drama stuff, and I was always cast as the villain.
Oh, that had to be fun.
Oh yeah.
What villains did you play?
Oh no, I was always the murderer, the Dial M for Murder. I was the one who strangled the Grace Kelly character, get the scissors in my back and stuff like that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's what you get. When you're this size, you play bouncers and killers.
Did you ever play the butler?
I did play the butler.
Did you do it?
I did. I played a butler in an Agatha Christie play, and it was a 2-person play. And I was having a fight with this lady on stage, and in rehearsal, she was supposed to slap me, but just barely miss me. But she connected, and I knocked my head into a wall sconce, and I was out for 20 minutes.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, that was good shit. That was good stuff. Because she was panicking. She thought she killed me. So that was good.
And this was while people were eating dinner?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. No, this wasn't dinner theater. This was just a real small community theater.
Oh, okay.
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Oh, man. So
yeah,
stand-up open mics must be a breeze for you.
Yeah, well, usually.
Other than Anthony Diaz. Yeah.
Yeah, it can be brutal. When there's a lot of comedians there, though, it is a fun time.
It is. And the thing is...
Well, and Anthony Diaz, I mean.
Yeah,
I'm sticking up for it.
Well, no, and it's, I gotta say, as I said to you, I went there when it used to be like Hellwigs. I went there a couple of times, not by choice, and it was a dark, dingy, like scary hole.
Oh, yeah.
And it's much better.
Yeah, it used to be Hellwigs before it was Anthony Diaz.
Hellwigs?
Yeah, that was the guy's name, I think.
Yeah, it was, and it was...
They used to call it Hell Pigs.
Yeah, it was a bad go. But the good thing is, when you are with a lot of friends there, you can bounce stuff off of each other when it comes to your work, and you find out what works and what doesn't. And you're always stuck with me, and I'm always pity laughing no matter what.
Yeah, that's what. Well, we did a mic last night at Joker's Wild. Mm-hmm. We just opened one in the back room on Sunday nights. Yeah, I saw that. So it was great, and Dan McCarthy was there. I don't know if you ever met him.
Shout out to Dan McCarthy.
Yeah,
dude, awesome. He laughs at everything like so loud.
It's great.
And then when he went up, people were kind of laughing, but we're just a bunch of asshole comics. So.
I wanted to say a disclaimer before he went up.
I should have. I was thinking about it.
Everybody better just laugh really hard.
I was thinking I was going to say it, and then the moment just came and I introduced him. Yeah, I got wrapped up, and I was like, oh,
well, shit. No, Dan Rice mentioned it afterwards, and with Pat Oates, they were kind of talking about how it seemed like Dan bombed because nobody was laughing, but everybody else just had his laugh.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So it was like, I kind of felt bad about that, but Dan McCarthy's a great guy, and funny, too.
Well,
very funny.
The thing is, I don't know if I can't speak for everybody, but sometimes when you can't connect with the audience, or you think you can't connect with the audience, it's like that's the nights when you have the best rhythm, and you think that you're awesome, you think you're on point, and there's just sometimes that it just doesn't work, but you just can't get paralyzed over it. Because when I first started, I would get paralyzed, and I was like, well, nothing, you people aren't loving me, so I'm going to go home and swallow pills. But you get over it.
Did that ever work out for you?
No, as you can see, I always pick the wrong ones.
Sorry, he told me something. You told me something at the open mic. You were on Macgyver.
Oh, I was the only kid Macgyver couldn't save.
So tell us what was that like?
I want an episode number.
I got to look at my reel. What I'll do is I'll put my reel up, and I'll put it up for you guys, so you can see how pretty I used to be, and now look. No, it was great. I mean, it was a 2-episode arc.
Oh wow!
So you were on 2 episodes.
I was I was the first episode I died, and then the second episode was in flashback.
Oh.
So I did for a couple of those, and I was
so they killed you off.
I was healthy. I was healthy and well.
Was it in the earlier seasons or the later?
It was. Oh God, I think it was the season 3 or 4.
Oh wow!
What year was it?
Early 80s.
Yeah, 83 or 84. Okay. I have to look. I don't remember.
I used to love Macgyver. Oh my God.
Who was the
Monday night?
Richard Dean Anderson.
Richard
was he a dick or was he cool?
He was really nice. He was sometimes towards the end of the week when he would start to time to film. He loved beer. He loved drinking. And by the end of the day...
Allegedly.
Sorry if he watches. He's a nice guy. Totally nice guy.
Who doesn't love their beer once in a while? Come on, MacGyver's a good guy.
If you want an 18-hour day,
no,
you gotta take the edge off. You just do.
Yeah, exactly.
There's only so many times you can make a nuclear bomb out of a Schwinn bike and a shoelace, and make it seem credible. But I was a senator's kid who was kidnapped. And he was trying to, get up to the white van, and the white van hit. And it was that stock shot. Did you ever see the stock shot from the 70s or 80s of the van going over, and it just hits the rock and explodes? That's what they used.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it was a terrible explosion. Why? What was going on? Was there a cut in the brake line? Why would it explode like that? But
it was transporting gallons of gasoline?
I guess so. Nuclear waste, allegedly. Wow. Yeah, but that's what you do. I did a lot of crap stuff. I did stuff like that when I would die. I died on almost every daytime soap opera that filmed. Like crashed in a helicopter and got light, and I was washed away with a damn flood in Search for Tomorrow, and it's just a shame.
So you were on soap operas too?
I did. I started when I was 3, and then I stopped being a viable property when I was about 26 or 27.
Okay, so that was when you decided to go into stand-up.
No, I've just been doing stand-up for a year and a half.
Wow.
I was just entertaining people at my house for, no money. Now I entertain people on stage for no money, so that works out fine.
Yeah,
Exactly.
Sounds familiar.
But it's good. Like I said, it's cheaper than therapy.
So how did you? Obviously, your parents got you into acting, or
No, my
guardian, or somebody.
Well, my mom did. My
Okay.
dad, because my mom and dad divorced when I was a little kid, and I paid for school that way.
Really?
It's like making culottes for Kathy Lee. I always said that. My mom hates that, but it's true. But you got to make money when you can.
And what else did you do?
I did theater. I did bad movies. I did bad horror movies. I did
name some.
Sharks in Venice.
Sharks in Venice.
Yeah, with one of the lesser Baldwins.
Steven?
Danny.
Oh, Danny.
Danny.
Wow.
Yeah, it was a Danny day.
No, the lesser Baldwin.
The least of all Baldwins.
Allegedly.
Allegedly. He's a very nice man. He's a very nice man.
Oh, yeah.
So was he one of the sharks, or was he?
No, he was one of the genetic physicists who caused the problem with the shark that released it into the canal.
Sharks in Venice.
How old were you then?
God, that was 7 or 8 years ago. I think it was 7 or 8 years ago I did that.
What does that pay? Something like that usually.
It depends. If you are a SAG member and you can get, I think I got $3.18 a day, which is not bad.
So you're a SAG member?
I am a SAG member.
Oh wow, that's cool.
Yeah, I'm not an equity member. I'm about 3 hours short of getting an equity card, but that's, But to be a SAG member is fucking ridiculously expensive.
Yeah.
Yeah, isn't it like $2,500?
It's $32.50. I think the last time I paid my dues, which was last year.
So you have to pay that to get it.
Yeah, and the fact of the matter is, like 3.5% of SAG members actually work. That they could say that's their job. I'm sorry about that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's so. But the thing is, there's other ways around it. You don't have to be a SAG member.
So it's just a big racket, basically.
It is a big racket, and you get to a point where they become what they call a must join. So if you have more than like 5 lines, you can't work again until you actually join SAG. So it's like they twist your arm.
Wow.
But you gotta do what you gotta do.
What a racket.
It is a racket.
They're going to shut down our podcast for talking shit. How dare you broadcast on iTunes?
After this, you're only 2 hours away from
so SAG and AFTRA are nice people. They're nice people. They're a very good union.
Very good union. Yeah, please don't put a horse head in my bed.
We are totally not anywhere near Milford, so if you're looking for me, I don't know.
No, we're in Colorado. We already established this because of the last podcast.
Denver.
Exactly.
Can't be smoking with cigarettes.
No, it's absolutely not. Allegedly.
Yeah.
But, so that's fine.
So do you do any acting still, or
I sometimes do it. It's not. There's not a lot to do around here, but I'll do a lot of stage readings if people are trying to. I like new authors, so if they do a lot of that type of stuff, I do it. I do some stuff over at Eastbound sometimes, and I do stuff at the Bijou where I did the comedy festival last year. Or a couple months ago.
So what's the advantage of having the SAG card? You think you're gonna renew it again, or?
Well, because you can't let it lapse, because then it's even more money.
Yeah.
But it does sometimes get you into some auditions that you sometimes can't get into. But the fact of the matter is, you need an agent.
Yeah.
And quite frankly, I know, like, probably 30% of the people I know, they just put SAG on there. It's not like they check until you get paid.
Yeah.
And then they have a big problem if you lied. But what are you gonna do?
Yeah.
But
so if they lie, then they
penalize you, and then you can't join.
Wow.
Yeah. You're like thrown out on your ass, and that's it.
Yikes.
I don't understand. I don't know. It doesn't make any sense. It's a racket.
Well, show business as a rule is a racket.
Yeah.
You just have to know how to play the game.
Well, I think it's starting to get overturned, though, by the internet. I mean, think about how many things that people are watching podcasts now, and
like this one.
Yeah, like this one, for example. Or they're making their own. I mean, we have 4 viewers, so 4 people.
People are awesome.
You are awesome. But people are starting to make their own stuff. Like, look at YouTube. You have channels that have millions of views, and none of those guys have their SAG, So slowly but surely, I think it's...
Tosh.0 like that. He started on the internet, and, Crazy Bieber started on the internet, and, all those jerks. But they're jerks, but they're nice people if they want to give us work. But no, it's true. It's true. I mean, you can make your own career. You can, if you just got to be willing to digital media has opened up a lot of different channels for people to be to express themselves and to have do creativity. I mean, I know there's a guy in LA that does podcasts that he actually wrote a podcast soap opera that people watch every day.
Oh wow!
And it's just people sitting around, like we are, and that's the premise of the show. And he gets thousands and thousands of hits because it's so absurd.
Yeah,
but it's fun.
But it's different. That's the thing.
It's his.
Because they have this formula they've been using for years for TV, and it's got to be this and that and this, and people come along and you see things like Tim and Eric, and you're like, whoa, wait a minute, what? Or like Aqua Teen Hunger Force, you know what I mean? Like, people love it. It's just different. I don't know. I think it's definitely changing.
Yeah, Adult Swim in general is just it's so out there.
Oh yeah,
and it's when you look at the animation. I mean, they went from this highly stylized type of animation that was like state of the art, and then when they do the stripped down versions of it, they actually are more entertaining, and and you laugh at how bad the animation is.
Yeah.
But it's what it captures you, and you don't turn away.
Yeah.
Because I mean, if you look at that, like Family Guy, and you look at American Dad and stuff, that's not high end animation at all. But it's just the matter of you actually look at the story and you listen to the story, which is what the point is, But it's fun stuff.
Oh yeah. Do you like any other shows on Adult Swim, like Adventure Time or?
I don't watch enough anymore because I'm old and I'm I go to bed early. But no, it's a lot of that. Comedy Central, Cartoon Network just has some of the best creative minds available to them. I mean, I was a huge fan of Stephen Colbert. I don't know how that's going to work when he takes over for Letterman.
It's going to be interesting.
I'm concerned.
A lot of shenanigans, probably.
I don't know, though. I don't know if he's going to translate well to regular television.
But it's late night, though. So I mean, it's a new audience.
If you look what Jimmy Fallon does with the Tonight Show, I mean, he's basically made it into a variety show. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? And sometimes I like Jimmy a lot. And if he ever wants to get me on there, absolutely, Jimmy, you're a fantastic guy. I love Jimmy. He's very funny. He's an awesome. He could be. Good to see you, Jimmy. We love you, Jimmy. I want to play like Faceball with you. Did you ever see that? That's awesome.
What is it?
I think it's called Faceball, where it's a football and they've got the glass screens with their guest's fame on it, and they have to throw a ball through it and break it shatters the glass. It's a ridiculous game, but you sit there going, I hope he wins. It's funny, but he does weird stuff. One of my favorite things he does is Box of Lies. Have you seen that?
No, I don't really watch it.
It's kind of awesome. It's the celebrity's on one side of this partition, he's on the other, and they bring down this box, and what's ever in it, you have to pretend like it's something else, and he has to agree if you're telling the truth or he's telling a lie. And I don't know, the audience wins some shit. I don't know what it is, but it's gonna be fun. It depends on the guest. Like, this is a boring story, so we have to move on from that. But most times guests are funny.
Apparently, you didn't watch the episode with Jackson. Poor guy. I love Jackson, great guy. He was just a little
out of it.
Weeded a little bit.
Well, he was, for the better of spirits. That's all it is.
Yeah. Well, no, he was just a little slow because I think he was a little. Yeah, but we're gonna have him back. We're actually gonna do.
He's kind of awesome.
That's something I want to talk about too. Not tomorrow, but next Tuesday, we're gonna do a live podcast at Metric.
That's an awesome little place.
So if you're watching now, one of the 4 viewers, or if you're seeing this anytime, next Tuesday, what's the date on that? It'd be the 18th then, right?
What's today? Today's the 10th. So
yeah.
It would be the 17th.
The 18th of November, you can check us out. We're going to do a live podcast from the Metric.
Oh, yeah.
And that's in a, what did he say? It was in the safety zone?
Yeah, in the Bridgeport safety zone. Yeah. Sean McCabe said that. I'm like, there is no safety zone.
It's Bridgeport, but it's in the good part.
It is. It's a nice.
And that's not a joke. There is a good part of Bridgeport.
Yeah, it's the harbor where the water is. It's really not a lot of crime in that water.
That's it. No, good stuff.
Unless you're a bunker.
Now, Kevin, you had your own show going on for a little while.
I did.
I know we were talking before the podcast. You said it's over with now,
or
temporarily.
Temporarily, it is because we have to. It was at Euro Lounge in Bridgeport, and it's a great little place. It really is, and I'm telling people, go there because it's really, really neat, and it's got a lot of character to it. It's kind of like Central Perk, only it's a bar.
Okay.
But it's just there's some challenges given where it is, and you're trying to. Well, as you guys know, it's very hard to get people to come out during the week.
It is.
You know what I mean? And even though it starts at like 7 o'clock or 8 o'clock, you want to try and get people in on Tuesday and Wednesday and Thursday, or Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. But people still have that mindset that they can only live life on the weekends.
Yeah, I hate that.
So it's kind of hard, but you just got to keep plugging away to try and get them to realize, come out after work and laugh your ass off.
I have friends, and even my parents, they're the same way, where if they have to drive 45 minutes, even on the weekend, it's a huge deal.
It is.
If you invite somebody to go out on a Tuesday or Wednesday,
they're like,
and
what?
It's a huge deal.
It's a Tuesday.
Yeah, I hate that mentality where I understand like having a job, full-time job, it's tiring.
Yeah, but you know what? It's 10 o'clock by the time you get home.
I know.
I mean,
And most people are going to be up anyway.
They are.
But they never see it that way. It's
half
always...
the time they're getting up to go to the bathroom like the third time at 10 o'clock. So who cares?
Yeah.
Come out and do it. There's bathrooms outside. I assume,
exactly.
in different places.
I think there's something about that. There's a lot of people who I think just get trapped in that routine, and then they feel like they're like
they get anxiety about it. Yeah.
Into like work home for 5 days, and then the weekend comes, and then maybe they'll do something then. But I mean, it's just a shame. I feel like some people are just dead.
Well, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I was going to say, I play a lot of poker. Well, I used to play a lot more, but this is consuming my life.
Mm-hmm.
So I would go to the casino. I'm like, I'm going to the casino. They're like, you went to the casino? I'm like, yeah, I went like 4 times last week. Like, it's an hour away. I'm like, yeah, it's only an hour. Like, it's
See, that's the way I look at
deal.
it. It's only an hour.
Exactly.
It's like, it's
not like we're driving to Atlantic City.
No. Well,
let's go to Atlantic City.
Well, fine, because there's only like 2 casinos left there now, so that's unfortunate.
Yeah.
Yeah, I heard that whole place is just a huge dump other than the Strip.
When you get there, when you're driving to there, you're fucking scared. But
Really?
by the time you get there, you're like, oh, okay. And then you're like, oh, no, I got to go.
Well, if you go to like Harrah's and Borgata, that area is really nice. And then, like you said, the Strip. But if you're off like the boardwalk
it's like
at
just
night.
Like one road now, right?
Yeah.
That's right. You go off the Strip at night, you're like...
Or even if you're on the boardwalk at night.
End. It's not good. Well, that's not good, because you guys have been to Vegas, right?
Yeah.
No.
Okay, you've been to Vegas? Well, when you're off of, Las Vegas Boulevard or Flamingo Road, one block over, you're like, oh my God, there's fucking nothing here.
Yeah, there really
and
is.
there's like where all the sad hookers are. They're like the people that sit at the Mandarin. You ever been to the Mandarin Hotel?
Yeah.
There's people opened the Mandarin in like 38, and they're still there. God love them.
I was when I was in the Marine Corps. Well, actually, big shout out to the Marine Corps birthday is today, guys. Everybody.
Is that hoorah? Is that hoorah?
Hoorah, yeah.
That's hoorah.
Hoorah! Any Marines out there? Happy birthday!
I did an episode of Major Dad once. So
oh, really?
Time, yeah.
Oh, who was in that?
Gerald McCraney. I just did it because I wanted to meet Delta Burke. My people love Delta Burke, so that's why.
My people. Oh yeah. For those of you guys don't know, Kevin is gay, so that's what he means. But he doesn't mean white people. You people. That's what.
Oh, you're funny.
Delta Burke. I know her from Designing Women.
Designing
See, look at that. You have a little gayness in you. God love you.
I used to love that show.
I remember that show because I hated it when I was like a little kid. Every time I was on, I was like, I hate this show.
But I watched it anyway.
I hated it all.
Well, that's at a time when you only had the one TV in the house.
Yeah, exactly.
Exactly.
That's
right.
That was a show that had, what was his name? It was the black guy on that show, too, right?
Meshach Taylor, who's also dead. He died last year.
Really?
Yeah, he died of some issue.
He was funny. I remember
Delta Burke killed him.
Something that happened on
I'm sorry, Delta, that didn't happen.
Yeah. Something that happened during one of the episodes. He had something he had to do. I can't remember what it was, but he didn't have a lot of time, so they came in and they're like, something smells. And he goes, they're like, have you been showering? I've never been busy. He's like, no, yeah, I've been showering, but I haven't had time to wash my clothes.
Yeah.
So now I'm always like, I gotta wash my clothes because I'm gonna smell. Like, 'cause I was like 5. I don't know. It was a horrible story.
It's funny how like you remember certain things.
Yeah, how do I remember that?
And it's something that seems so insignificant at the time, but you hold on to it for like 30 years.
But I can't remember anyone's name that I just met 2 seconds ago, but I remember that scene.
What was your name again?
Frank.
Okay.
Frank Rowland?
Frankly, yeah.
Oh.
I don't know. But, so, big surprise.
So, Euro Lounge, that's the place that you run. I've never promoted a comedy show. I've never run a comedy show.
That's not easy, yeah.
It doesn't seem easy. What are, like, the ins and the outs that maybe the average person doesn't really know about? Or the average comic who wants to maybe start doing that? What are some
I think the challenges that I ran into that I learned from, you can't just call. You can't get in touch with a venue or with a club. You know, even if the club reaches out to you and they said you want to do a comedy show, and they want to do it starting on Tuesday and it's Thursday the week before. Mm-hmm. You need to build out 2 or 3 weeks or even more if you can to promote it. You need to do a Facebook page. You need to do an e-blast. You need to flyer it up if you can. It's not an easy go, and you've got to make sure that you're dealing with a venue that's dedicated to really supporting you, and they also have to pitch in. The venue's got to be willing to promote it on their website and put it up on their shows. And
yeah, that's definitely key. Because they can get posters, they can get a lot of stuff for free just from the alcohol distributors.
And that's exactly
what I did. So you have to tell them, get posters, yeah. Definitely.
I did a thing that Little Mo's in Stratford. I did it for about a year until they had a problem with their landlord and she closed down. But that's what she did. She worked with their beer distributors and we got posters for free. And they were huge posters. And it was great for everybody who performed there. And the other thing is you've got to be, if they don't have a budget, it's a big problem because you want to get quality comics, and most of you guys know that sometimes you're lucky and you just get guys and women that you work with and they want to work stuff out, so you can offer them guest spots. But there comes to the point where you do want to try and offer them something, But if you got to make sure that the first couple of shows maybe you don't want to charge anything, then you have to make sure that you talk to the venue and go, we're bringing people in. I'd like to try and charge like $5, and you got to work with them. Like, are you going to take the door, and they're going to take the bar, or they're going to, you got to see where they are with that. Most of the time they seem okay with you taking the door as long as it's not something ridiculously. And if you're charging like $15, $20 and you're taking the door, they got a problem with it.
Yeah.
But you got to do something for your comics because people, you got to understand, and anybody who's watching this or listening to it, to get up there and try and make people laugh it's a really hard thing to do. And anybody who's willing to go out there and try it is doing an amazing feat of strength. And,
oh yeah, and if they can do it well, it's a really great talent.
It's an awesome
and
talent.
I don't like when people put on shows and they don't take care of the talent. That's really
and there's a limit to how many times you can go to the well and say, could you do me a favor?
Yeah.
And sometimes it's okay, but it gets to the point where it gets kind of insulting because it is an art form.
Yeah.
Whether or not people believe it, it's true. It's an art form, and it's a form. It's show business. It plain and simple. Now it's like show business, but that's the way it's got to be.
I often feel like stand-up is like we're like the infantry of show business. Mm-hmm. We're like at the front lines. We're taking the heat.
Well, the thing is, I always start with a joke where it's like I always tell people that comics are like the hookers of show business because we sit around all day, dressed up, waiting for that call that goes, I need you tonight for 20 minutes and I'll pay cash. and that's what you're looking for. I'll pay cash. You could stick it anywhere at that point. That's the thing, a joke, but it's true. Yeah. When you get people, I'm going to do something, I'm going to give you $50. And let me tell you, $50 for 15 or 20 minutes, that's awesome. When you first, that's awesome. And people go, that's, because I think a lot of people need to understand, not everybody is Chris Rock and Jim Gaffigan and Louis C.K.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
We're not commanding $15,000, $20,000, $30,000 for an hour's worth of work. Yeah. We're just not. And even the people that open for them aren't.
Yeah.
That they don't get that.
Yeah.
It's awesome if you do, but it's a very rarefied. Once again, like SAG members, 2 to 3% of the people that are working in comedy are actually making that kind of money.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just, there's a lot of challenges, and you got to plan at least, like I said, 4 weeks, 5 weeks in advance to really push it, and you got to do it every day, whether it be Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. Instagram's a big deal now because a lot of people are following points on Instagram when they don't do everything else. Mm-hmm. They sometimes aren't even watching their Facebook feed or their Twitter feed.
Yeah, but
they're on Instagram. They love that. And once again, if you get the right graphic up there, you get the right picture up there, people are awesome. But that's another thing. You got to be willing to invest the time to gather followers.
Yeah.
So it's a hard go, and it's I had to stop because it gets very disheartening when you go there and you get 4 or 5 people that are your friends. Because when I did the Bijou Comedy Festival, I did that in September. We were met with the same challenge. I mean, I had 9 or 10 comics. Well, you did. What did you do? Wednesday night for me?
Yeah. Thursday night.
Thursday night. Yeah. You did Wednesday night. Well, you guys both were there, and that we were just. I mean, the crowd was not there, and it was something that was totally new. Yeah. Because there was no comedy festival in Connecticut.
Do you plan on doing that again?
I would like to do it again. I don't know if I'm going to do it at the Bijou because I just don't know if that's conducive to it. But there are there's a couple places that approached me that want to do it next year. So
yeah, thank you for that. By the way, I had a great time.
Yeah, that was
fun. I was there before I performed. I watched everybody. I performed, and then while I was driving home, it hit me. I'm like, wait, I was just on stage at a theater.
Yeah, I had that feeling too. Where beforehand, I was actually like, wow, I think this is my first official theater.
Yeah,
and that was a big deal for me.
And that's what I was looking to do because I think it's important for people to. I started very young on the stage, and to actually learn how to work the stage, to actually get used to it, to being that high up, because we weren't ridiculously high.
No, we were pretty high, a lot higher than a stand-up.
It was the closest thing to like a stadium performance that we would have right now, and it was a great way to get used to it, and it does give you a better sense of self, and it kind of makes you more confident when you're at that level. You know what I mean? I mean, I don't know if that was what you felt, but I actually felt, and it made it for a little bit easier because of the fact of the way that the lighting is in the theater. You can't see a lot of people in front of you. What is going on there?
Brandon's cat is trying to sabotage.
Holy crap! I was
almost
killed by an errant cat. I don't like pussies flying at my face. It's very disconcerting.
I do. If anyone's listening and want to fly them at me, I'll take them.
We'll just follow them that way. But no, that's what I wanted to try and do. I'm gonna try and do it again next year.
Now Wednesday and Thursday, like we were saying, was a little bit light, but I heard Friday night, which was the night you hosted, was awesome.
Friday night was awesome. What I would think I would change, I think I would do it for 2 nights and not 3.
Okay.
Unless I can get someplace to agree to do it Thursday, Friday, and Saturday.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because once again, we went to that same mentality where it just wasn't. Well, the other thing was Pat Oates was filming his comedy special, or his comedy DVD on Friday night, which a lot of people jumped on the bandwagon for because in their mind they're like, oh, maybe I'll be on that DVD, which is cool. Whatever gets butts in the seats.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
But. Yeah, that's what I would like to do. I would like to try and do it again, and I think if I could get somewhere that's Thursday, anybody who's listening, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, or just do it on Friday and Saturday.
Yeah.
Because that's that's where you can film. You could fill like at least half the house seats. If you could fill half the house seats, I'd be happy with that.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I don't know if anybody got any work out of it, but there were some people from the Broadway Comedy Club that was there, and the New York Comedy Club that were there. So, I mean, did you guys, and we had it filmed for everybody, did you guys get your
I never got mine.
Yeah, I got mine emailed to me.
Okay, you didn't get yours?
I'm
going to speak
let
to
me
him.
Check my email one more time.
Yeah.
Maybe, I don't know, I don't check it.
Andrew Zalek, if you're watching, I need to make sure that Adam Prue has it.
I'll double check. Yeah. If I don't, I'll.
But that was my goal. I wanted to get people, because you know how important it is when you're trying to get do a submission to a festival. That's another thing that people don't realize with comics. You want to be a part of a lot of festivals, but it costs money. You have to pay the entrance fee, and you have to have a really hot HD quality snip of yourself that's like 5 or 10 minutes, and it's hard. You got to peddle yourself. Like I said, the hookers of show business. You got to whore yourself out to find a place that is willing to let you perform.
Yeah, and the travel is expensive too.
Absolutely.
Whether you're driving or flying,
when you look at I always use Brian Plum as a What's going on, you all right?
Nothing, go ahead. I'm just trying to move closer. Get a little closer. This is the podcast of distractions.
That's it. There's cats and there's microphone stands. But Brian Plum is one of those people that just are
Great
all
guy.
over the place. Oh, he's awesome. If anybody's here, did you see the... I used one of his lines as a Facebook post the other day, and he laughed his ass off because I had to go rescue somebody from a strip club, and you could tell that makes me anxious. And one of Brian's greatest punchlines was he was at a strip club, and he had a woman put her breasts in his face, and he couldn't breathe, and he said, "This is how I'm going to die, a glittery tit to the tonsil," and I laughed for about 15 minutes. But no, you gotta... I mean, Richard Sear, who's coming up after us, that's another one he's everywhere. I mean, he is everywhere.
Yeah.
And it's every night he's somewhere else, and it's...
Yeah.
That's what it's hard. It's hard to be able to do it.
Yeah, he's not an ordinary person.
He most certainly is not.
He's
He's crazy.
He was telling me a couple of weeks ago he did like 4 different states in 1 week between Monday through Friday, and he worked every day. And he works at a bank, but...
Oh, wow, he has a day job, too?
He has a day job, a full-time day job.
The Claw has a day job.
8 hours a day there, and then he was driving. He said he did, like, New York one day, Rhode Island one day, Mass one day.
Wow.
I saw him over the weekend. He told me it was right before he drove up to New Hampshire, a place in New Hampshire.
I have no idea even where New Hampshire is. I don't. So I assume it's up there.
Just keep going up, and then you'll
hit it eventually.
Yeah.
Straight back and to the left.
Yeah, I wanted to ask you, do you have any, you were talking about Facebook and Twitter and everything, do you have any secrets that you, or something that you think that you do that maybe no one else is doing to promote?
I think the thing is, when you put up a page, when you're doing an event invite, and you are trying to select people, when you first put it together, you've got to select your friends that you have on your list that have the most followers or friends first, and ask them as nicely as you can, would you please share this, like you did with me tonight.
Yeah.
If you get them to share it, on their page, then you just build in to all their friends. I think that's probably the best bet, to start with your friends who are the most popular in the Twitterverse or the Facebook universe, and get them to start, and then just build into it. I mean, there's no other way around it, and you've got to post every day. Or at least every other day, to let people know, to keep it in the front of their minds, and don't be afraid to say, make sure you keep us on your news feed, because now you have all those things where you can pull people out that you're not aware of. So you got to make sure that you're in their face all the time, and don't be afraid to use your personal pages. I just knocked the shit off. I'm sorry.
We're
good. But use your own personal page in addition to the events page. Yeah. Just use it wherever you can. I mean, that's the only thing I could suggest.
Now, does the newspaper or like radio, does that even matter anymore? Was that a factor when you were promoting any of your stuff, or were you just like, you know what, it doesn't matter anymore?
The newspaper, I think, is, first of all, nobody has a budget to do newspaper advertising. To advertise in a newspaper is ridiculously expensive.
Oh God!
You've got to be able to have a massive budget from whatever venue you're doing it that's willing to underwrite it, because there's no way you're going to be able to advertise in the paper unless you do. Now, I'm not talking about like if you put in there, like what's to do this weekend, and there's a free listing, which is that small.
Yeah.
That doesn't do any good. Now, on the other side of the coin, if you go to a lot of the news outlets' websites, they have a community feed that you can usually advertise for free. TNH has it, FSB has it, News 12 has it. That's something that you might want to consider as well. But once again, you don't know what their click-through rate is. You don't know how many people are actually on there. But once again, it's free. So you've got to look and you find the places wherever you're allowed to do it.
Yeah, I know a lot of the towns have what's called like a patch. Like Milford has a patch.
I don't know if Patch is still in business, though. I don't know if Patch, and whoever's listening, if you know it is, and that's fine. But I know a lot of the places don't have their Patch sites up anymore.
Oh, really?
So I don't know if perhaps they were sold
I still get emails with the articles and stuff that
okay, well, that means
on,
it still moves.
Yeah.
I don't think where I live down in Stratford, I don't think we have our site anymore.
Oh,
but
right.
I don't know. I don't know how that is. But
you guys lost
that
it.
is awesome. We lost it. That's Stratford.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's not Bridgeport.
No, that's true.
So, unless you're in Bridgeport, and don't stop listening. We love you, Bridgeport.
We love you, Bridgeport.
If it wasn't for Bridgeport, I wouldn't have half my material.
Woohoo!
Come on, guys.
But no, that's the only thing I could say. And it's just like I said, you just got to keep hustling. That's all you can do.
So, what made you make the transition from acting to stand up?
I didn't have insurance, and it was cheaper than going to therapy. I'm not even kidding you. You know,
so you think you've benefited from being on stage?
Oh, absolutely.
People,
because if you're having and a lot of people, when I talk to them like about my family and about my friends, and they think that you're doing a bit, but 99% of what I say is totally true.
Yeah, oh yeah.
And a lot of people need to remember that some comics, total bit that they're doing.
Yeah.
They create it. Most comics, this is what they have to deal with their life.
Yeah.
And it's a lot easier. And see, I have a problem with editing. And that's always been my problem. Even when people go, like when you do the contests, like there's the funniest comic in New England up at East Coast up in the casino. Mm-hmm. Even when we did the comics at Joker's Wild, it's very hard when they go, you have 4 minutes. I can't speak in a regular sentence in 4 minutes.
Yeah.
So it's very hard to edit for me, because I tell stories. Which is fucking forget it. But there's a storyteller.
Storyteller Mike tomorrow, Joker's Wild in the back room. Yeah, Stosh Makita, big shout out. 6 o'clock, I think you.
I think sign up is 6. They start at 6:30.
6:30, yeah, it's free. So
their plan is they want people to go there and then hit up
Pat Jansen's mic.
Pat Jansen's mic at
the Russian lady.
Russian lady.
Yeah.
A Russian lady. Okay.
Russian lady.
It used to be called.
Playwright and Wicked Wolf, yeah. It's right downtown New Haven.
So yeah, if you're gonna go to the Storytellers mic tomorrow, definitely hit up Russian Lady afterwards. You get 2 mics in one night, and there's nothing better. I mean, there is a definite comedy scene in Connecticut that I think a lot of people don't know about.
Well, and the other thing is, if you do go to these open mics, you can network with other people that are there, and you can get other work. Most of the time. Now, let me just say this. Not paid work all most of the time. It's not.
Yeah, but it's a start.
You get some awesome stage time in different places, and that's how I started. Because I did Johnny Benson, who's awesome. He did.
He's going to be coming on the podcast soon.
He's
actually,
awesome, and he gave me my first gig at Costa Zura in Milford. Awesome man, and he is probably one of the most supportive people out there. Oh yeah, and. That's what you do. You meet people and you go, and I don't have a problem, and I don't know, I think I could probably speak for you guys, of going up to people and go, hey, do you have any time? Do you have any spots? Do you have anything? Please keep me in mind.
Yeah.
I do it all the time. That's another thing that you guys can, that I have in terms of suggestions. Use Facebook and send out a couple of messages going, hey, I know that I saw that you did an awesome job at this mic. Keep me in mind if you're going to be doing it again. You know what I mean? And sometimes that'll happen. You were able to network like that, and you got to keep yourself in the front of their mind.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I've done a few shows, and it's always the people that ask me. Like, you actually asked me to be on one of the shows, and I put you on, and that's what it is too. Because when I'm putting it together, I have an idea of who I want. And then I have a couple spots. Who can I get? And then the people who are asking, it's like, oh yeah, no brainer, because then you don't.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of younger comics who feel like, oh well, when people think I'm ready, then they'll ask me to do their show. And I'm a little bit guilty of that when I first started out. Yeah. And I'm still new and everything, but you have to really take the initiative and say, no, I want to be on your show.
Yeah, because it shows that you want to do it. It shows. It's part of, I think, people recognizing that you're ready is to actually ask.
Yeah, and the other thing is, when you do that, if somebody gives you the chance to be on stage, you better be very well prepared and not flying by the seat of your pants and just hope that it's going to work for 10 minutes. You got to be
you got to be
prepared. Because here's the thing, if you ask for a spot and you don't bomb. Let's say you bomb, but it's not because the crowd was bad or it's not because the room was bad. It's because you were not prepared. Yeah. That's an entirely different situation.
Yeah.
You've got to be willing to make sure that you bring your as sharp of a game as you can get it.
Yeah.
And I mean, that's not saying. I mean, we've all had times where nothing works, and you just have a bad set.
That's a great question we like to ask people. Actually, Adam likes to ask people: is when is the time that you bombed that you can recall is probably the worst?
The awesome Jackson, who I think is a great guy.
Oh, I love Jackson.
He was very nice enough when I first started to put me at his bit at Two Boots.
Mm-hmm.
Two Boots, I've been there.
Two Boots, and it's an
shout out to Hannah, who's the bartender at Two Boots.
Yeah. I got up there, I think it was like my second or third time. Now, understand this. When I used to bring people to Jokers, I would bring like 14 or 15 people with me all the time. I always used to do that because they thought it was a neat thing and they wanted to do it. And, you know, Pat Oates loved the fact that I was bringing in 15 people and stuff, and that was great. This was the first time that I didn't have my padded laughers, so I figured I had to do something. And I thought that I had this awesome 15-minute set, and it was going to work well. And I got up there, and I gave my first 2 jokes, and I swear to God, all you hear was fucking crickets. And you realize that you have another 13 minutes. And I started sweating from the back. You couldn't tell in the front of me. My back, my ass, my legs, the back of my hair, and I felt like Bruce Dern in the X-Men, you know, when he's just poke him and he turns into a big pile of water, and there was nothing. And I just kept going. God love Jackson. He was in the corner laughing his ass off. Thank you very much for doing that. But and you are well aware that you are sucking out loud, but you just gotta get through it. You can't cut it short.
That is a very tough room, though. When I played it, I pretty much had the same thing where I had 10 minutes, and it was pretty silent. And Jackson was really cool about it after. He was like, you know, they weren't laughing hard, but they were listening. And he was like, sometimes if you go to a tough room,
that's true.
Just getting them to listen is almost a win in itself.
And, you know, it's funny that you should say that, because there was a lady who was leaving with her husband, and she came up to me and she said, you know, you're actually very funny. And this was a lady who sat there with her arms crossed. So everybody's sense of humor is different.
Yeah.
And just because
and the way to express it,
and you just wanted to say to her, well, thanks a lot, lady, but could you fucking laugh out loud a little bit? There was one lady in the corner, drunk out of her mind, but God love her. I started playing to her. Yeah. That was what you have to do in order to get through it. You find where your laugh is and just play to the laugh. Yeah. You know? But it's worse than doing, you know, Who's Afraid of Virginia Woolf with old people eating meatloaf. So it couldn't be any worse than that.
Yeah, exactly.
What's the worst thing to happen to you think, during doing dinner theater?
I fell off the stage.
Oh, no.
I missed my mark. And I was backing up, and I literally fell off the stage into a table with like 9 old people from Idaho, literally. And you think it's a joke, but it's not. And I broke my ankle. But,
wow!
Did the show go on? What happened?
Yeah, they did. They just burst on the curtain. They had my standby ticket while I was in the hospital. But, you know, they're like, well, we paid $44 for, you know, meatloaf and a show. Well, we got the fucking meatloaf, but where's the show?
You got a hell of a show.
You got a hell of a show. And it's like I was
3D.
I was doing Fall Guy, you know. But
were you on Fall Guy?
I was not on Fall Guy. I didn't do Fall Guy.
What about A-Team?
No, I didn't do A-Team. I did Riptide.
No way.
With Joe Perry and the blonde guy whose name I can't remember.
What is Riptide?
Riptide was
an 80s show.
It was an 80s show that was on NBC, and it was about private detectives that were on a boat. I don't even remember. I know I fell off the boat in that. I didn't die. I just fell off the boat in that one.
A lot of cops on boats, kind of.
Well, there was
in the 80s.
Oh yeah, the marinas were very hot in the 80s. You have to understand. Yeah.
What was that Bruce Willis movie?
Which one?
With that might have been like 90s. Sarah Jessica Parker was in it also.
Striking Distance.
Yeah, Striking Distance. Yeah. Everything happened on the water. I love when there was like a theme to a movie and it couldn't not happen on the water. You know?
Well, because that was also the same time that they did the sequel to Speed. Where were you when Rush Hour hit the water? I was paying $12 to watch Sandra Bullock try to rescue a cruise ship, which I never could understand. It goes like 4 miles an hour. How is it a problem?
Speed to cruise control.
And the best thing was fucking William Dafoe. I love Willem Dafoe.
Yeah,
He's always like the Joker, even when he's not the Joker. It's great.
Yeah, he's had some really good roles, and then some roles that you're just like, what?
Yeah, he's such a good villain.
Yeah,
but he's also played a good guy too. He was the good guy in Platoon.
Yeah, right? Platoon. Yeah, that's I was just talking about that. Was a great movie.
Yeah, that was.
Yeah.
That this leads me into what I wanted to say was I did a wedding. I think it was 2 years ago, and the guy who was getting married, his dad was Tom Berenger.
Oh, all right.
So
awesome.
Tom Berenger was there, and he sang and everything.
Oh,
I got to
awesome.
meet him, and I just wanted to be like, Elias! I mean, come on, man, do it for me. Because I love Platoon. I watched it a million times when I was younger.
Tom Berenger did this movie with Mimi Rogers. It was like the white version of The Bodyguard. I can't think of what it was called. Someone to watch over me.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was like he was awesome. You know.
Yeah, he's a great actor. I was having this conversation with somebody yesterday, and I was talking about how actors. It's weird because you can get an actor that's really good, and then all of a sudden they just fall off for whatever reason it is.
Oh, that's what I wanted to tell you. When I was talking about that, sometimes when actors fall or when celebrities fall and you don't know what happened to them, and sometimes you see them and they wind up doing regular jobs like you do. I was in L.A. and my dad was living in L.A. and I had a crap car and I needed to buy tires. And I went to Sears in Los Angeles, and I walk in there and I'm like, Jesus, that girl looks familiar. Why do I know that girl? I was like Christy McNichol. Do you remember Christy McNichol?
Oh, yeah.
What was she? I probably know her face.
From Empty Nest? Because you're what, like 24, 25?
29.
Okay, yeah. But you did.
I remember the show. It was a show, right?
And, you know, in my mind, I'm going, oh, my God, I wonder what happened. So it comes out of my mouth, Christy McNichol, what happened? You know, and that was the worst thing in the world.
Yeah, no.
I think she was nuts. But, no, you just...
Chemical imbalance went a little crazy.
You actually asked her what happened?
Yeah, and that was bad. That was a bad idea.
What did she say?
She was like, can I help you?
Oh, no.
I was like, oh, never mind. I'm sure I'll buy the tires and throw in an extra one because I feel bad for you.
Oh, no.
But
where's Darren Seacrest when you need him?
She was at...
With all his tires.
Yeah. She was at Chiller last year, so she bounced back nice. So
she was on what?
There's this great thing that's called Chiller Theater.
Oh.
It's in New Jersey. It happens in October and April, and it's a horror movie convention, but it kind of attracts... B, C, D, and E, and F list stars.
All right.
So you basically go there just to see how bad they look.
Oh,
Christy looked there and she was fine. She was having a good time with her crazy brother, Jimmy.
Did you ask her if you can get some tires?
I didn't, and I was hoping to God, because I gained like 40 pounds since the last time I saw her, so I'm like, oh, she doesn't even remember. You're the fucker who asked me what happened. And now you're paying $40 for my autograph, but that's fine.
Well, you got to. He told me a story at the open mic. You got to tell about when you were hanging out with Richard Dean Anderson recently.
Oh, okay.
Who plays Macgyver?
Here's the thing. He was doing a collectible show, and I was talking to him, and we were reminiscing because that's what I do from that's because I'm a super celebrity, whatever. But you're walking there, and if anybody's ever been in these collectible shows, it's kind of like a Star Trek convention or a comic book convention. You have people that are just great collectors, and they have the appreciation of the genre. Then you have the people that are just fucking nuts. And I'm walking with him, and I'm talking with him, and there's a guy walking just off to the side, and like my left, and he's got this massive binder that opens up into like 4 different things, and he goes, "Excuse me, weren't you on Macgyver?" And I'm like, "How the fuck do you even know?" I'm like, "Well, he was, And he goes, "No," and he starts flipping through pictures.
Really?
And he finds a picture of me as the crazy kid who no one could save. He must have had a picture, he must have like 10 pictures from every episode. And I'm like, you know what? Richard Dean Anderson has people. Why don't you go talk to him, because they'll wrestle you to the ground. I have no people, so I'm going to move to the left. But it's just, it's nuts.
What if you were like his holy grail of people to meet? Like he never thought,
I
never thought I would meet that kid. Where's he now? And you just were like, all right, later. He's probably home cutting himself.
Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome.
Oh my God.
That's awesome. What happened to you? I'm a marketing executive for an entertainment company. That's what happened to me. Because you people didn't send an email writing campaign to save the kid in the white van. Thanks a lot.
Because there's no email invented yet.
No, there wasn't.
Damn you, Al Gore. You should have came out with the internet earlier.
That's right. They had to send a mail. The fan mail with a stamp on it. That's right.
Yeah, right.
That's a shame.
Oh, man.
But no, that's funny stuff.
Oh, yeah.
So, That's crazy.
Well, we got about 5 more minutes.
Before the claw comes on?
Before the claw. Richard Seard. I don't know if he likes that name, does he?
He wears a T-shirt.
Yeah, he does.
That has the claw on it.
Oh.
I think he's trying to market it.
I think he's got merchandise. I was about to say that. I think he has T-shirts and stuff like that.
Wow. Anything you want to plug that's coming up? Or?
I'm actually not. Anybody want to give me a job, I'm welcome. Please feel free to send me an email or Facebook message me, whatever it is, and if you got a job, and I'll
why don't you tell people how they can find you?
You can find me on Facebook at Kevin Dolan. You can find me on Twitter at Kev's Just Sayin', SAYIN. And I have a website which is kevindolan.co, not com, because it's, I don't know why, but it's just kevindolan.co, and I pretty much will do anything except balance plates or fuck a woman. But aside from that, I'm pretty much flexible.
Have you ever had sex with a woman?
Not effectively.
Me neither. What happened to you?
Well, the thing is, you're like, I don't even know what that does, and it's a little disturbing. I don't get it, but, what are you going to do? I was raised in a house. People say to me, well, how did you know? I was raised in a house with 4 women. I went to Catholic school for 13 years. That does not help for a healthy heterosexual lifestyle, but, what are you going to do? You are who you are when you come out of the womb. That's the whole point.
Oh, yeah, exactly. So you went to Catholic school.
I did.
I know
the nuns are very, very proud of me.
How old were you when you came out of the closet?
18.
Oh, wow. So that's pretty young, right?
Yeah, well, relatively. And even now, some people know, some people don't. And it's not an issue for me. I'll tell you if you want to know. It's very hard to... Come on.
Come on, you're gay. Come on.
That's ridiculous. This is the sound of his voice, for Christ's sake. Who was it? Artie Robb said, he looks like a bouncer, but he talks like Richard Simmons. So that's... I like Artie Robb.
Funny guy.
He's awesome. He called me Big Vanilla. Big Vanilla Teddy Bear. That's what he called me. So I was using that. It didn't work. I tried that on Grindr and it didn't work. So
that must be great, huh? Grindr? I mean,
no, it's not. It's crazy. It's nuts. It's disgusting. Actually.
Oh, is it? Yeah.
It's all kinds of disgusting because it's like Tinder, only even grosser.
Yeah, but that's what I'm looking for, but with women. I
got some app suggestions for you. I'll send them your way.
There's this website I heard of. It's called Craigslist.
Yeah. That's some bad stuff. I got some bad shit going on there.
Well, you can get a nice couch. Someone had that joke. Someone had that joke, right?
Yes, that's right.
So you think, what are the places you're looking at to do the festival next year?
Oh, yeah.
There's a place. I'm talking to a couple places in Milford, and I'm talking
that'd be great.
I was talking to. I was looking at the Parsons Complex, which would be awesome because it's a great stage. So I just have to see. I'm gonna start pushing that. I'm trying to keep it fairly local. So I'm thinking of that. I'm looking at a small theater in Bridgeport, not the Bijou, but there's another space that's like that. But if anybody has any suggestions, inbox me in terms of that type of a situation. And we'll see what we can do, because I really want it to become I don't want it to fall by the wayside.
Yeah.
I want to make sure that it keeps going.
Yeah.
And, it takes a while. It's like, you got to make sure that it gains traction, but you want people to look forward to it.
Yeah. So. Well, it's like anything else. You can't give up. You got to,
no for the first try. No, you got to keep moving.
If you need anything, let me know. I can also give you a page on my website, because I have comedylol.com, which is such a great, easy thing to say to people. But I'm from Milford as well, so I know a lot of people here that could probably drag to it, especially if it's on a weekend.
And I gotta say, and it's not just because we're not in Milford, but if we were, for the stalkers out there, we're in Colorado. But if we were in Milford, it is a fantastic community.
Yeah.
And it's a very social community where people love getting together on the weekends. I mean, people come and they're all ages, which is awesome.
Yeah, Milford Center, because I DJ down there. It's all
from Friday night until Sunday night at midnight. It is jam packed with people, which is awesome.
Yeah, if we could tap into that, that'd be.
Well, I reached out to a couple of the new restaurants. I reached out to anybody who's listening at is the Whitney Tavern. Eli's.
Oh, Eli's,
Tavern.
yeah, Eli's.
It's got some awesome little spots in there. So if anybody who's listening that has a connection with some of the venues in town, some of the restaurants, something like that, reach out to anybody here. And
definitely.
Because the whole goal is we've got to sort of spread the message around.
Yeah.
And sorry about that. Made a mess. But that's the key. And if you want somebody to make you laugh, we got to have a place to do it.
Yeah, exactly. All right, guys. Well, that was an hour. I can't believe it's been an hour already. Had a great time.
Thank you.
Remember, you can check us out on comedylol.com. And I put up a donate page, so if you guys are feeling a little friendly, give us money. All right, Kevin Dolan, thanks a lot for coming.
Thanks, guys.
So much.
Appreciate it.
See you later.
Thanks, guys. See ya.
Yeah.
All right.